Barely breathing. I know I fucked up. Got caught cheating.
Je suis Charlie. For those of you who have no idea what is going on in France right now, and that should be none of you, was it 2 weeks ago, a week ago? And I'm going to say it no matter what other media sources aren't going to say, some radical Islamists decided that they didn't like a cartoon that the French had, that this magazine, Charlie Hebdo, this French satire magazine, think Mad Magazine, remember the old Mad Magazine?
Was it like the equivalent of like an Onion or something?
Yeah, it's like equivalent of a printed Onion magazine, only...
Okay.
And they only printed before all of this happened, like maybe 40,000 copies. And if you think about that, that's like the population of the homeless people in Las Vegas. It's not a big number. 40,000 seems like it is, but it's not. And so they posted, and they would also post online. So they posted these, and it's not the first time they've posted pictures of the Prophet Muhammad. We're not even talking about like Allah, the actual God. We're talking about a mortal man who just heard the word of their God, right? So it'd be like somebody posting pictures of the Apostle Paul or some shit like that, right? Like nobody knows who this fucker is. Everyone knows who Muhammad is. So they posted some satirical photos of Muhammad, and these radical Islamists were like, you know, we really don't like that, so instead of protesting or telling everybody what a terrible person you are, we're going to come and shoot you all. And that's what they did. They showed up with fully automatic weapons that they were able to obtain on the black market in France, the exact same black market that exists in America, so it wouldn't have been any different if they'd been in America and done this. Illegal weapons, and they shot and killed half of the staff of this magazine, including the cartoonist who drew this cartoon. And instead of backing down, Charlie Hebdo was back up again this week, and they printed their first episode, issue, I guess it's issue, their first issue since it happened, and it had another picture of the Prophet Muhammad on the front of it, which I think shows that these Frenchmen at least aren't the cheese-eating surrender monkeys that the rest of their country is, and they've got giant balls. And I am Charlie, because I believe in the freedom of speech, even if that speech is offensive to other people, because if it offends these people, they don't have to listen. They don't have to look. They don't have to purchase the magazine. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to read it. If you think that I'm an offensive fat fucker, don't listen to my show. That's just the period, end of story of it. Don't listen. If you find me offensive, don't listen to me. And I am okay. I don't need you to listen to me. As a matter of fact, I don't want you to listen to me if you think I'm offensive. And I'm absolutely positive that that's the same way that the editors and writers at Charlie Hebdo think, and that is that if you don't like it, too fucking bad, don't read the magazine.
But do you think they're publishing it, obviously not from the same exact place? I mean, are they in like underground bunkers, like, you know what, like hidden? If they were bad, like, I'm gonna hit publish.
Yeah, no, they probably are in like some old World War II, you know, nuclear bomb bunker somewhere. But boy, wouldn't it be if they had the stones to be publishing from their old publishing house. I would be one of the ones there. If I lived in France, I have a friend who does live in France, and she's a big supporter of the freedom of speech, because she's also she's a journalist, an American journalist who married a Frenchman and moved to France. And I'm sure I would have been standing outside of their publishing house with some flak vest on going, publish, 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 you know, keep going. I will protect you, because I will protect our right to say whatever the fuck we want. And we don't give a fuck who likes it or doesn't like it. Because if you find it offensive, just don't look at it. It's like, ooh, naked people offend me. Then why are you looking at naked people? Like, if a fat girl in a bikini offends you, you should not have fat girl in a bikini in your browser history. At no point in the entire search history of your life on the internet, if you find fat girls in bikinis offensive, should you search for fat girls in bikinis.
Right.
This directly correlates, what's happening in France directly correlates to what a lot of larger women in the public eye go through, where these trolls who find them offensive or find them disgusting, rather than just not looking at them. They insist on returning to their websites and blogs and Facebook pages repeatedly to post trolly comments on their page. And it's like, I don't okay, here's the deal. I'm not a big fan of clubbing baby seals. Like, the practice of going out and beating a baby seal over the head for its fur and meat. I'm not a big fan of that. And so you know what? If you searched my browser history and ignored all the porn references, you would never once see baby seals being clubbed or clubbing baby seals or anything like that. You will find exactly one instance of whale or dolphin porn in my search history, and exactly one. Just one. I found it offensive. I've never searched for it again. Like, that's the way it should be. Like, ooh, what does a fat girl in a bikini look like? I find that offensive. I should never search for that again. And just click away and go away and move on. And the whole deal about everyone saying, well, the Pope, I love the new Pope. I'm not Catholic, seriously not Catholic, but I really like the new Pope. I think new Pope is great. The only thing I'm not a big fan of about real new Pope is his whole thing about, well, you have the freedom of speech to say whatever you want unless you're going to start talking about religions, and you should hate on you shouldn't hate on any religions or talk bad about any religions. Well, maybe not. Maybe it is, I'm not going to say morally wrong, because in this case we're not being morally wrong. Maybe it is more offensive than a fat girl in a bikini to say, the Pope buggers little kids, and then draw a cartoon about it. Although the Pope doesn't bugger little kids. He's like one of the only popes who won't, or hasn't, or whatever. But
I don't think any of the popes have.
Yes, the Borgias. No, the popes of the past were all a bunch of boy buggering hookers. Yeah, there's a lot of, you got to research popes before popes became real popes, back when popes were just popes. There's old popes. I'm telling you, research it. Make your browser history once, popes buggering kids, and you'll find instances of it. It'll be the last time you do it because you'll find it offensive, but it's out there. But no, you should be able to hate equally. I believe that tolerance should tolerate everything, including other intolerances. And you'll be like, look, I think you're a dick, and I can't tolerate your intolerance, and therefore I'm going to remove myself from your sphere of influence. Same thing here. I don't think you should be running around making fun of any religion unless you're going to make fun of all the religions. And that's one of the biggest problems with people who do make fun of, like, Christianity or Islam or Judaism. You don't see them writing comical satire strips about Buddha or the Shintoists or anyone else like that, because, well, frankly, there's not much to, what are you going to do? Oh, Buddha was a big fat guy who said everyone should love everyone else. Okay. Jesus was a little skinny guy who said that, but it's freedom of speech is allowable everywhere, I believe. And that's, if you fight for no other freedom, it is that freedom with which you should fight for, because I really want to be able to say the word fuck anywhere, anytime. And if you find it offensive, you can either ask me to tone it down, and I will, on a case-by-case basis, decide whether or not to, or you can walk the fuck away. And I think that we should all have that right to both publish whatever we want, say whatever we want, and if you find it offensive, you just don't have to look at it. That's the end of it. I find the Westboro Baptist Church extremely offensive. They're not in my search history. God Loves Gays is, but the Westboro Baptist Church is not. So
I think, I definitely agree with what you say as far as like the freedom of speech, but I also happen to think that there are many public figures who use their freedom of speech for, not that they're obligated to do good with it, but that they use it for
evil and nefarious purposes.
Evil and nefarious purposes. So in those cases, I guess that's fine for freedom of speech, but don't bitch, because that doesn't mean there's not freedom from consequences.
Oh, no, there's not freedom from consequences.
If you can say what you want to say about who you want to say it about, whether I like it or not, but then you can't turn around and bitch and claim, you're violating my free speech because you got a consequence for what you said.
Yeah, no. If you go on, if you're a media person and you go on and you say some things that are highly offensive and then you get fired for it, you really can't bitch about it, because there is a level, like we have 2 sister stations, and they are AM talk, local talk, not news radio, but local talk. And they have to subscribe to the FCC guidelines. They can't say fuck, they can't say shit, they can say, I know all the rules. You can say ass and you can say hole, but you cannot say asshole. You can call someone a whole ass, but you cannot call them an asshole. You can bitch about something, that girl can be a bitch. You can bitch about something and you can have a bitch in heat, but that girl can't be a bitch. You can be pissed off that somebody said something, but you cannot piss on anyone. And you can get pissed, which is to get drunk. So there's lots of rules about what you can and cannot say, because there are guidelines about what you can and cannot broadcast to the general public. I'm okay with that. It's less censorship and more like, hey, children might be listening, and not everyone wants their children to hear you say, I pissed on that bitch last night. I, as fluent in curse as I am, don't want my kid to hear you say that. I don't need him to know that golden showers are a thing. He can discover that on his own. Like I did.
From the internet. I just got a splinter from this counter.
Hey, write a report on that so I can try to get new counters.
Are you kidding me? How the hell do I get it out?
I think I have some tweezers somewhere in the first aid kit or something.
I'm going to die now.
You're not going to die. You might get syphilis or gonorrhea, but...
What? I know! I used to...
There used to be penises on this table. Yes. So, no, I think you need to, if you're going to be speaking publicly in an open forum where other people who may not want to hear the word fuck are going to be, maybe you should limit your fuckitudes and your shits and your pisses and bitches and fucks and cranks and all that other stuff that makes people mad. Whatever really doesn't flip your light switch, maybe you should try not to flip others with it. Or something like that. Self-modulate, people. Don't be a public figure and stand up and go, I buggered little boys last night. Great for your free speech, bad for your public image.
Right.
Just saying.
That's just like you can't, go on the radio and go, I hate my studio, I hate my job, I hate my life, and not my life, but I hate where I work. It absolutely sucks.
My boss is an asshole and blah, blah, blah. And then not expect.
Yeah, not expect consequences of the actions. And that's where a few discrepancies kind of come in regards to free speech. You can say and do whatever you want.
There just will be consequences.
There will be consequences.
And you have to be ready to pay for those consequences.
When a magazine posts something that... And these were unfortunate consequences, but I think
sucks.
That whole situation sucks. But if a magazine does post something, they have to know that there could be consequences in regards to, not that they can
come in and shoot you.
Right. But you may lose sponsors. You may lose advertising sponsors.
I think maybe that was
like what you're writing about.
Right, and I think those are acceptable consequences.
Right. Subscribers may say, this sucks. I would like to call and cancel my subscription now. I mean, that's really what happens.
Yeah, there's a level of acceptable consequence, and then there's fucking psychos walked in and shot you because you drew a picture of a dude who may or may not have existed. I'm not saying Muhammad didn't exist, not saying he did exist, not saying he was a prophet of God or anything like that. Just saying, I'm just saying you really shouldn't go fucking shooting people just because they make fun of your prophet. If every Christian, because there's a lot of Jesus memes out there. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a lot of Jesus memes out there. If every Christian got pissed off because of a Jesus meme, there'd be no one left alive.
Right.
If they just went in and started shooting people who posted Jesus memes, I, for one, would definitely be dead. And I know that there would be other people very close to me who would be dead because they posted Jesus memes. I'm not going to post a Muhammad meme because I know Christians won't shoot me. Radical Islamists might. And that's unfortunate because I've known some Muslims and I've known some people of the Islamic faith who subscribe to the, original teachings and not those, last 4 or 5 pages that say, oh, by the way, shoot everybody who doesn't like what you do and won't become what you are. But the ones who follow the peaceful teachings of Allah and Muhammad and they live good and honest lives. Not all Islamists are radical and crazy and will bomb you. Not all the squiggle, squiggle, dot, dot, llama, vomit motherfuckers are looking to strap a bomb to your chest. Only most of them. No, I'm just kidding. That's my freedom of speech coming out to be offensive.
She said it, not me.
I live at Stepford Village, 123 Stepford Place. 123 Anywhere, USA.
Hey, can I ask you a huge favor?
Sure.
Can we get those tweezers now because I think I'm dying?
Yeah, you're going to have to entertain them for a second.
I can absolutely do that, but all I can think about is dicks flopping on this part of the desk, and now that dickwood is in my finger. Like, dickwood in my finger. Not working out for me very well. So... Oh, I guess she meant it. I really do have to entertain by myself. Next week we have DHEF coming on, and DHEF will be in here. He has not been in studio since last year around this time. He is in for AVN, and he has quite a few projects coming up that he will be discussing. He's also bringing a guest who I will give me just one moment, and I will tell you who that guest is. Let's see here. That guest will be Tony, the owner of Desired Pleasures. He will be on speaking about his company and him and Dee joining forces. Thank you. It felt like a very long time. You can only talk about dickwood so long.
Yeah, they've been...
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's a Band-Aid for you. I thought I might get you an alcohol wipe, but we're out.
Oh, I can just breathe. No, I didn't drink last night. I was going to say I could just breathe on it and I could sterilize it with my...
Wait, you didn't drink last night?
No.
Wait, didn't you say you went out?
I did, but I was designated driver.
How the hell did you pull that ticket off?
It was so rare. So rare.
We're going to watch you pick dickwood out of your finger.
I don't even know how I'm going to get this out.
You want me to work on it for you?
I'm going to lose a finger here.
You're not going to lose a finger. You're just going to get a hard on. All right. Everybody gets to watch.
So she is now doing the tweezers at my finger. And I am such a baby. It's just a dang splintery thing. Did you get it?
Almost.
It hurts! It hurts!
I'm sorry. I don't even know what direction
it's dickwood and it hurts now. Okay, leave it in, leave it in, leave it in. Okay. Leave it in.
If I had I do have a needle. I can.
Yes. A needle will work because
let me go
then
get
I
a
can
needle.
push out with the needle.
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to entertain again?
Yes.
Oh, crap.
Tell them a horrible dating story. I know you only dated like 4 dudes in your life, but I'm sure you have a terrible dating story.
I dated when I was younger.
Come on now.
I can't think of any. Oh, okay. Here, I'll tell this story. Somebody said, Kelly guy said, Toxie got wood. Nice. And AGG said, hope you don't get, and it censored it, Toxie. So I don't know what the censored word is. I hope you don't get I hope it's not like disease, because I'm seriously hoping I do not get a disease from this dickwood. Okay, so a horrible dating story. So I have not dated in like 5 million years. Not since my early 20s. I've been married a long time, we'll say. So anyway, I had a gentleman that I had met, and I was living in San Diego, and he came down to San Diego, and the date was awful. We met at a Denny's, and it was just plain like we did not click. We had nothing to talk about. It was just a very, very awkward dinner. And at the end, he said, well, maybe this is just a bad story for me. I probably sound really bad here. But he said to me, hey, if I get a hotel room, will you come back to the hotel room with me? So I told him, if you get a hotel room with cable, I'll come back with you and watch TV. And I did. He rented a hotel room. I went back and watched TV while sitting on the floor as far away from him as possible. And that was it. Just so happens at the time I did not have cable. So that was my that was my dating story.
I think I need to hear the rest of this story. I'm not going to make you all sit through it twice.
I was just explaining it. It was a first date. It was really bad. We did not click in any way, shape, or form. But at the end, he said, if I get a room, will you come back? And I said, if you get a hotel room, I'll come back and watch TV. And so he did, and I literally went back and just watched TV.
That's hilarious.
So that was it.
That's pretty goddamn good. Let's see, how many times have I rented a hotel room with a guy? Once. And my mom called me while we were, doing it. Or we weren't really doing it. We were like taking a break. And I figured, oh, I can answer. And then to be an asshole, he just started eating me out while I was talking on the phone with my mom. I was like, oh, you fucking bastard. Needless to say, I did not go out with him again because you need to have some space, some privacy for my mom time. Even though my mom time's not particularly sacred.
I had, when I was in San Diego, I had one boyfriend who was in the Navy. He lived in a base there. And so we would, I lived with family members. So for us to get together, we would have to go to a hotel. But, he didn't make a ton of money there, and I didn't make a ton of money. So we would have to go to very, very cheap hotels in like the bowels of San Diego. And I remember walking into one.
Did you get it?
Did
you get it?
No, I'm still working it. And I remember walking into one, and we went in, and the room was like, I mean, it was, it was really gross. I was pretty sure a body had been died in there at some point, but I'm still like, I can make this work. And what was that?
The rubber band.
Until I went in the bathroom and I closed the door to go to the bathroom, and the whole back of the door was covered in bugs. And I never ran so fast in my life. I was so out of there.
That's
that one
gross.
was that was a really, really dumpy motel in southern San Diego.
As many people would believe, we actually had a reformation downtown, and so all of the seedy hour by the hour hotels kind of got shut down. So there's really only like one really cheap place to get a, for a couple of hours a night motel where it's only, like $20 or whatever. And Callie guy and I did it one time. Simply because hotel sex is great sex because you can make all the mess you want and it doesn't really matter. And when you're in a shitty motel like that, it really doesn't matter what kind of mess you make because they're not going to clean it up anyway and somebody else is just going to come sleep in your spooge.
Come in and use it.
Yeah.
I used to work in a hotel when I lived in San Diego.
And what is the rule? Leave the cover on, take the cover off.
Oh, first off, okay, let me tell you hotel etiquette. If you walk into a hotel, take the fucking cover off. They are only required to wash it. I don't know if it's, how much it's adjusted, but I believe it was like once a week back then. So that cover you're on is absolutely guaranteed to be covered with someone's nut. Take the cover off. When we go to hotels, rule number 1, cover off, gone. Unless you can go up front and ask for a fresh cover, or some of the nicer ones, like we just stayed in a Wyndham, and they didn't actually have a cover. It was like a nice, maybe duvet type thing that was washed. It wasn't one of those, cheesy covers. And then it had this little thing that went over the foot of the bed, like a
foot blanket.
Yeah, like a foot blanket decor. And so since we walked in, the first thing I'm like, get that off, fold it up, put it to the side. We don't touch that. I can't guarantee that's washed. But the other stuff is obviously, clean. And then thanks to having the bug guy on, I know how to do a thorough bed bug inspection.
I missed that episode, and now I do not know how to do a bed bug inspection in my hotel room.
Oh, you are missing. Let's get him back on because everybody should know how to do this. And we do it every time. I mean, even I went on a school field trip, and so we were staying in a room with 3 or 4 kids and one other parent. And immediately when we came in, I was very bossy. I was like, nobody put your bags on the floor. Nobody put your bags on the bed. Bags go in the bathroom right now. You can put them in that cabinet right there and shut the doors. We are now lifting the bed. Here's what we're looking for. And then I made them pull out the couch bed because they were going to be using that as well. And I'm like, and here's what we're inspecting for in the bed. And
no bed bugs riding home with you.
No bed bugs coming home with us. So
that's good.
I've been very successful thus far.
That's good. I think I'm going to throw in another quick break here. just because I know you need to get that out of your finger. And then we're going to get into some catch-ups. I've got a debate going on that I need some help with. Oh, that's not what I want to do. How are you coming along on that thing, by the way?
I don't know what's going on now with it. I might have pushed it further.
I can get it out. You may not like it, but I can get it out.
I can't do it.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to try to rescue the dickwood out of Toxie's finger. We'll be right back.